Hello friends. After my recent house moving, it took me a while before I had my new workshop up and running. A big difference between my previous workshop and the new one is that I live closer to my neighbors than before. So I had to come up with a plan for smoke filtration and fumes, especially because I am a leather worker and I use my lasers to cut the leather. The odor can be very unpleasant. When I did my research about filtration for lasers, it became clear that you can find a lot of filtration systems, but often very expensive. And even then, it is a gamble if it was going to work. I had seen the presentation of the Sculpfun S70 Max, where they used the Smoke Purifier SP1 to cut a leather bag. So I was intrigued if it could work for me. I asked Sculpfun if the results with leather were satisfying, and they assured me that it worked for them. I know there is a difference between full-time veg tan cutting and a demonstration, but I decided to implement the SP1 in my setup. Keep in mind that it is best to ventilate the room anyway. Before I give you my findings after a month or two of use, I want to tell you a bit more about the smoke purifier itself. The machine is well packaged and is pretty heavy, probably because the purifier is made of solid metal. It immediately gives you the feeling of a well-built piece of equipment that will last for a long time. When you open the lid, you will find a combination of 3 different filters. A pre-filter that filters out PM pollutants like dust, fibers, hair, etc. The second layer is a box that absorbs fine dust, odor, formaldehyde, etc. I have not opened this filter yet, but I presume it contains active charcoal to filter odors. The last filter at the bottom, the main filter, filters even further. According to Sculpfun information, up to 97% of PM 2.5. A powerful built-in fan at the bottom completes the smoke purifier. And I must say, I was surprised at the power. My laser enclosures are pretty big, and the machine performs sufficient to extract all the smoke generated by the 10W laser and even the 33W laser. It has a system flow rate of 310 cubic meters per hour. Sculpfun describes the noise it generates as low and under 54 dB, but it isn't something to use in the living room. It comes with flanges, so you can immediately use it with all sorts of lasers. I 3D printed a few extra flanges because I want easy swap between my lasers without having to unscrew the flanges. Speaking of that, the smoke purifier has 4 castor wheels to make it easy to move around. On the front you will find a knob to adjust the fan speed, but I always leave it on full power. What are my findings after 2 months of use? I consider myself as heavy user because I cut leather most of the time, and it removes all the generated smoke. No smoke in the workshop at all. What about odor? When cutting leather, you will always smell it unless you buy an industrial filtration system, but that is out of the question in my budget. But the odor is a lot less than when I used to extract the smoke without filtration. And something that is reassuring, my IKEA air quality sensor stays in the green zone, almost no extra fine dust. That doesn't mean you now can laser toxic material. That is not what the sensor measures, and the purifier will not protect you against toxic stuff like vinyl. When cutting or engraving plywood or MDF, the purifier does a very good job, and there is almost no odor. Almost. The maintenance needed for this purifier is something to consider when buying. It doesn't stop with the purchase of the machine. You will have to order spare filters to keep using it. When the first layer, the pre-filter, is saturated, and that can happen in a few days when you are a heavy user like me, the purifier loses power. Also, when you change that filter often, you will preserve the more expensive filters that are underneath it. The middle filter and the main filter don't need to be replaced that often, but I bought a spare kit anyway, so I can keep on working when they need to be replaced. Keep in mind that the filters come from China, and it takes time to deliver. All in all, is it worth buying? Not when you can extract smoke directly through a wall, and no neighbors can be disturbed. But in circumstances like mine, yes. Just consider the extra cost for spare filters. Till next time.